hit the 4-inch scented jerk shad. Oh gosh! Very large fish that I spotted. Oh gosh! Got him. Okay, so you know how I was excited about the 17 in a place that I'd never caught them in cold weather? Yeah, this is a little bit better. Got another big one off the same rock. You're at least 18. You're a little thicker. I don't think you're as long. Yeah. All right. 2 thick ones. 2 hefty hefties. Look at this hefty fishy. All right, the second one, 19 or better off the same rock in a newly found witcher hole. Go ahead and get this guy back in. Hey folks, I'm going fishing tomorrow. It's been a long time since I've recorded an episode, and I've been doing other things. In particular, I've been doing a lot of my river kayak fishing classes for some of you. It's been a good fall. Enjoyed it. It was fun. It was fun to watch people have those aha moments, and it was fun to watch 6 different anglers catch personal best under my guidance. Tomorrow, it's kind of the last considered nice day for a while. We're sliding into winter. We're gonna be, we're gonna catch the last of catching fish in winter holes while they're still fairly active. I was actually on the Smallmouth Talk podcast with my buddy Josh last night, and we talked about locating winter holes, and yeah, it was a good podcast for sure. But yeah, let's jump into looking at a few things here on the gauges. Actually, the first thing we're going to look at is the wind forecast for tomorrow. The wind is going to be low in the morning. It's going to lay down for us, which is good. But that's short-lived. Like, we get to midday and it really gets cranking up, and that's this cold front coming in, and while it's windy, it's going to be up into the 60s, but gust up to 30 mile an hour. So I'm going to have to figure out a spot that has that protection against that strong westerly wind. Now, we had rain last week and it pumped it up, and I was actually out on the water filming something that won't be here on the YouTube channel. It's called KFAS, which is Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training. Did that with my buddy Kurt. I am a level 3 American Canoe Association certified paddling instructor, level 3 river kayak. So I'm able to teach the whitewater stuff, in a skirted boat with up to class 2 rapids. It's not what I do. I teach kayak anglers. And the Kayak Fishing Advanced Safety Training thing that's coming is gonna be, like, I'm doing the river module for it, and there'll be other modules for other fisheries and other safety focused topics. We lose kayak anglers every year. In fact, we've lost 2 in the last month or so, and the purpose of KFAST is to train people how to self-rescue, but also, in the case of what I'm teaching, how to be good with the paddle. In particular, the moving water maneuvers is so critical for your fishing success. In any case, we are out there I went with my buddy Kurt. He was my model student, and went out there and basically filmed all sorts of different things, from reboarding practice to hypothermia mediation, to, just teaching different paddle strokes, maintaining boat position, one-hand paddling technique, all kinds of different stuff. But we had a rise. We had the river came up, right, while we were out, and we didn't get to fish that much. We did catch some nice fish. I got 2 of them that were 19 and a half on jerk baits, and that's kind of a stepping off point for, patterning fish tomorrow, right? I know this is the suspending jerkbait bite will be good. Long pauses, though, a lot of in fact, both of those fish hit, both of those 19 and a half inchers hit after a 30 plus second pause. And, they're in and near the winter holes, and I'm gonna go to those areas. An area that I haven't been at in years, that I've done well in years past. So the rain we had last week really pumped up the river and had a good rise. We're having rain that's going to start here, any second, and it'll be this afternoon, and hopefully we get a bump in the river level tomorrow. I'm really hoping that happens, because when a river comes up any time of the year, catching the rise is such a critical thing. All right, looks like we had about half an inch of rain overnight in Harrisburg, and still haven't. It's such a big river, you're not going to see the river level jump up that quick. But any little deviation from that long, slow fall is actually a good thing, and we may see the bump up, I don't know, late in the day. Any little stirring up of things is a good thing for sure. All right, it's still raining a little bit, but got everything ready. Glad I got an early start, because the wind's gonna get up, and I need to go way upstream. Look at the ducks. There'll be duck hunters too. I gotta kind of be aware. It's good that I'm wearing that bright hat so they see me. Occasionally the duck hunters are like, hey, we're here, can you not fish this eddy? And I move. I think I'll show you my rig before I launch. This one is the prototype, but soon to be production model. This is the Innovative Sportsman Kestrel, 13 feet 9 inches, 36 inches wide. And man, I've enjoyed filming all of the K-Fast stuff in this rig. It's efficient, a little bit longer than there's a shorter model of this, and another model that's coming soon that's it's kind of a throw and go. It's kind of actually called the Throw and Go. 11 feet 4 inches. Actually heading up to Trey's to the Innovative Sportsman workshop, and I think on Friday or Saturday we're gonna rig up that one. So I'll show you a couple little preview clips of that boat. We're looking to get that one at just under $1,000, so real nice price point that gives you room to rig. If you want to put the motor on, you can glue on the switch pads and put a motor on it. But honestly, I think how I'm going to use the Throw and Go is going to be just that. Paddle it, tuck it underneath your arm. It's 40 pounds. The whole weight is 40 pounds. Seat isn't much more. And to grab a paddle, a rod, maybe a backpack, a beverage, and tuck that thing up under your arm like a surfboard and just walk out to the water, wherever you are, is a cool thing. We may mess around with some more lightweight motors than, say, the Torqeedo Travel Adventure or the 1103. There's some good lightweight options out there we're going to take a look at as well. But let's go ahead and launch the Kestrel. For the Kestrel and the Drone Go, they are still prototype phase, but we're looking to have those in, I hope, early next year. We'll see. See how this goes. We're also looking to add dealers. This is a boat, or two models of boats that are not going to have the frame standard. It'll be up to you to rig it with or without. The nice thing is you can tuck the seat into the molly webbing that's running the channels here, and you can use it without the track. But if you want to get the track, you can do that as well. It's nice to have options and a good, at least starting price point. Haven't figured out on what the Kestrel is going to cost, but it's got some scuppers in it. It's got some extra features, like the well, all the switch pads in the back. It's designed for motorization, but man, it is a heck of a whitewater boat. All right, starting out with the Lucky Craft Pointer 100 in chartreuse shad. I actually found this one. It was actually somewhere up in New Jersey, and fishing one of the mill ponds like we have in Delaware, and looked down in some reeds and saw this sucker just laying there. I'm like, hey, that's one of my baits. It's one of the ones I use. Hooks were like mostly rusted, gone, but I've swapped them out. It's an owner, I think it's ST36s, and I swap out hooks every trip. If I use it a lot, I want fresh hooks on there, and I buy them in bulk. And fresh hooks on a jerk bait is everything. Got something else that I'm gonna play around with. I did well with this a couple years back without the trailer, but that's the big blade chatterbait. And the big blade in the cold weather means that you can move it slower. That being said, it's a 3/4 ounce head. I've tied it with the bucktail. You can see a reel of me making these baits on my Instagram account, which is Jeff Little Kayak Fishing. But I will move this slow. It'll have a lot of bottom contact. It'll probably pause on bottom a few times, and frequently after the pause, when you pick it up again and start going, and then wham, because they're looking right at it, just laying on the bottom, curious about it. Of course, those two are moving baits. They're search baits. And we'll have my usual scented jerk shad. It's a 5 in redfish toad. But yeah, once you find those lanes of foam, bottom bouncers, they're in there. They're in there. Let this just kind of hang out down there and root around and sit still for a while, see who picks it up. I did switch from the shiner, which is more of a very clear water color. I catch them in stained water as well with that bait because it's so natural. But the redfish toad has a little more glitter to it, kind of orange, a little bit of gold glitter, kind of a green shine to it as well. And it's a good thing when you have a little more stain. And yeah, I'm putting the scent up in this little channel at the bottom. So this bait is more of the traditional stuff I throw in winter. I mean, it's a jig head I made with a very fine wire hook right here. That thing, it's the owner 5318, and it's sticky. It sticks to them. It sticks to me because I just touched it. That's why I pour my own stuff, because I love that hook. And a lot of manufacturers won't pour with it because the point will roll, because it is brittle. just get over that because I want to poke them. A lot of hooks, they'll mess with it and then drop it, and you never know who's in their mouth. But I tied this one with the round rubber and the silicone. I didn't put any hair on this one. I do have the bristle guards up top, and the trailer is the TRD bugs. I think this one's called sprayed grass. It's kind of a green pumpkin over, I don't know what the bottom one is, maybe a watermelon. And the bottom has that kind of green fleck, and the top has like a purple fleck. So two excellent colors here on the Susquehanna River. That was a carved pumpkin that somebody just threw in the river, I guess. And there was one November where there was a bunch of us out here. I think Juan Varut was part of that trip. It was Juan, myself, and maybe one other person. Maybe it was Jed, I don't know. And like, we look upstream and it was a rise like this, and like everywhere, just orange balls coming down. And I think it was a pumpkin field somewhere north in the state. It got flooded, and it floated them up, and they all came down here. It was ridiculous. It was the pumpkin hatch. So I was on the Smalley Talk podcast 2 nights ago, and Josh and I were discussing what a winter hole looks like, and it's not just one thing, but the concept of, imagine it with a lot more water in there, like flood stage. Is there a place for these fish to hold? The discussion actually started with me talking about, you got to watch foam and see where foam stops moving and then just settles and doesn't move, and that's kind of dead current, and that's good, but you need that at all levels. And I've worked these shoreline eddies all the way up. Let's take a look at this one. I had to try this shoreline. I didn't think it was a high likelihood, but you got to sample it in November, late November. It usually works better earlier in November to tell you, hey, are there going to be fish here? You can see that leaf in the foreground kind of moving past. You can see the foam in the middle kind of swirling. It's kind of a circular current. And if you move up towards the top, there is some foam that's like, that's not moving, right? There's some brush in there. But put another 2, 3, 4, 5 feet of water here. Where are these fish going to go? Well, you do have somewhat of a steep bank. They get up on that bank. They're probably going to tuck up in that tree. But it's not really room for a lot of fish, even though that looks like a huge current break. And it is. You got to use your imagination. You got to think through. They have to, if this is where they choose to make their stand for the cold water period, imagine it with all sorts of different river levels. And, when you do that and you start finding ones that you say, oh yeah, we have found fish here. We know that there are fish here. This is a spot. And then you find other places where you're not successful. It'll become more apparent to you. That being said, you still got to try. You got to try in November. And I'm still trying to find new winter holes, right? I have not made it to the one the first of 2 that I'm like, yeah, I've caught them here in February before, we'll make our way up. But you got to sample. You got to test. You got to see how can you expand your list of known winter holes. And you do that in November. You also do it in March. So I'm investigating some water in between some islands that is connected to the known winter holes. One of them is right there. Early and late in winter, they're going to push to the perimeter of, like, say they usually winter here, they're going to be on the outside edges where it's shallow. And this is worth checking. I came in here and it was really clear. It was more clear than I was expecting, so I'm going to put this away. I know that on the opposite shore, I'm not putting that there. The opposite shore has some stain, and that's more appropriate to that big blade flashing and thumping. But I think I'm gonna go with the jerk bait to, like, help locate them here, and then I'll have the scented jerk shad as the follow-up bait. So I'm in the winter hole, and I know that I'm on fish. I actually found this one years ago, fishing an underspin on a 3-day warming trend in February, and I caught him pretty actively here, and it just kind of woke me up to, hey, there's a concentration of fish here for sure. I have cruised over spots where, like, I didn't see anything, and I look this way, and then I look back, and right underneath me, plume of mud where I've startled one. So, like, they're around. I'm not going to use the jerk bait anymore because I've thrown it in here, and they haven't reacted to it. And I'm going to pick it apart. It's very clear, and I'm going to throw the finessey thing under the foam. I should probably throw the scented jerk shad a little bit, but I kind of want to get a nice whack on a jig. I'm looking down at it's 5 feet deep here. It isn't really deep. It isn't crazy deep, but the current is slow. And what I just saw right back there, hunkered down to the bottom, was a turtle. There's a turtle in here. Now, that's a common thing. GoPro start recording, where you have winter water that it's a pretty good fish. That turtles will hibernate in these areas. I went to the finesse, and, like, right away one of them said, "Thank you, yes, I will take that." That was the first cast. Not with the jerk bait, Well, I threw other things on the way up. But, yeah, turtles in smallmouth that popped right out, will inhabit the same areas. And that's a nice one. He's got that black tail spot. What do you think, your redfish? You like that TRD bugs? Nice. I'm gonna take you away from your friends after I measure you. Yeah, I guessed on his length, and I was correct. He was 17 and a half. And it's telling, though, that, like, as soon as I go to the thing I know is going to work, it works. I want to catch them on that big old hairy chatterbait, big blade, but yeah, they're going to eat small in this clear water. I think that's a big part of it is, when you have Very clear water. It's low. It's still low. I don't think we're over 4 feet at the Harrisburg gauge, which is low for winter. They see everything that's happening down there, and I think a lot of times we think, oh, we have to make sure they see it. No, they're going to see it. Their job is to take notice of things that weren't there a second ago. So I got something here that feels exactly like a 4.5 pound smallmouth on this little finesse jig. If it feels like a leaf, it's probably a leaf, but you should set the hook on it anyways. So I missed one just a second ago on the TRD bugs. And I high sticked it. And when you high stick, you let them have all the leverage. Like you got a hook in them. Keep your rod tip low. Alright, this one pushed up a good bit into a little bit of white water. Hit the 4-inch scented jerk shad. Downsize because it's so clear. And yeah, this is a big fish. Okay, you big fish. Minnow eating big fish in clear water. Come here. Get in the net. Alright, you can relax now. Relax. So this constitutes a peripheral catch. Like he was near some current. He was connected to that bigger, deeper water, and that's a good fish. Should go 18, maybe 18 and a quarter. You go 18 and a half. Oh, I could totally get you, yeah. Closed mouth in a tournament. That's touching 18 and a half. Nice. 18 and a half incher on the 4-inch scented jerk shad. It sat still for a long time. What's a long time? I don't know. He's been out long enough. I'm going to stick him back. See. More than a minute? Yes. Yes, for sure. Absolutely more than a minute. Some of my students from earlier this fall had asked, hey, can you teach me how to winter fish? And I've done this in the past on a very limited basis, but I told 2 of them, yeah, I will teach you how to winter fish. So I went ahead and made a curriculum, and I have it with a bunch of video link of my prior videos and you know, the advantages of learning how to winter fish. The dividends it pays helps you the other 3 months, and it's mental focus endurance. Mental focus endurance. It you know, when you go a long time and you haven't had a bite, and you know, how good are you at paying attention when it's been like 4 hours since you've had a bite? I'm paying attention pretty good because I caught one nice one here and then missed one there. So like my focus is very good. If I go another 3 hours and don't get a bite, am I going to be on it? Am I going to be like, oh, there he is, set the hook? Or am I going to snooze on it? Am I going to not even notice it? And one of the ways that I develop mental focus endurance, focus on the presentation, is I take the bait and I stick it in the water right here, and I look at it, and I see what it does in the water. It kind of undulates and kind of sways in the current. I see the round rubber just kind of wiggling, but I'm sitting here looking at it, And this helps with one thing in particular. It helps with bait design and how I come up with these, these shapes and, tackle craft. It helps me with tackle craft, but it helps me even more with visualization. Imagining what it looks like out there. And then imagining what it looks like when a fish comes up on it and kind of checks that thing out. I'm imagining there's a little ledge trench in front of the rock that I can see, and that fish is slowly moving his way up the ledge trench, right? And in about 45 seconds, he's going to get to my bait, and he's going to say, "Oh, what is that?" And he's going to look at it like this. Then he's going to swim past it and not eat it. Then 30 seconds after that, he's going to come back and he's like, "Yep, it's still there." He's going to stare at it for 5 seconds. Then he's going to open his mouth, flare his gills, and it's going to go thunk into his mouth. It's easier for a more experienced angler to, like someone that's done this a lot, to visualize that because we've actually, in clear water, seen him do it, right? But the point is, when you're looking at where you casted there for a reason, right? And for you to sort of guess what it looks like underwater there, and just imagine the fish coming up on it. That's visualization. And visualization, when you start doing it, you have more focus and you expect the thing that you hope to happen to actually happen for a fish to bite. And that activates positive mental attitude, right? Which is everything. Because especially in winter, you don't get a lot of bites. And we're not in winter yet, but it gets tougher from here on in. To have the positive mental attitude, to let it sit there and have faith in the spot that you decided that's it, is really important. It results in good outcomes. It also results in you going more often because, when you're optimistic and you believe that it's going to work, it eventually does, and then you just get more mentally tough to the kind of things that happen in the headspace of someone fishing sub 40 degree water for river smallmouth. You can go negative very quickly, so you have to work on it, and that's where I say the dividends come in quite a bit the other months of the year. Because you've developed positive mental attitude, you've developed visualization, you've developed the endurance of focusing on your presentation. And honestly, that's some of what I'm going to coach people this winter. I'm going to teach them hypothermia prevention and mediation. I'm going to teach them, bait, presentation specifics. I'm going to teach a lot of stuff, and I want to get people that are committed to doing this safely. If you don't have a dry suit, don't even bother asking me. We're not coming out here in winter without a dry suit. But if you're interested, I'm going to move to a different spot. If you're interested in learning, still in ground to get off that log or that rock. If you're interested in learning, shoot me an email. I'll put the email right here. And jot that down. In the subject line should be winter fishing outline. You do that, I'll send you the outline. You can check it out. You can watch some of the videos and read some of the narrative I've put into the outline that should help you, whether you connect with me for some one-on-one coaching or not. I want to help people because I think it's it's good to fish in the winter. It really is. horseshoe like I did the one I missed out here earlier. Yeah, 4-inch jerk shad. They're gonna pick it up. You want reserve for that? Swing you in. I think I want to do an illustration. I've been bringing this whiteboard out here to do the illustration. I need to bring that when I'm just out here doing fishing videos, not just the paddling instruction, but I will do this at home. You'll see it here in just a second, but I want you to look at the lay of the land. Basically, you have this big, slick water, just not a lot of current. There's some depth. Sure, there's a ledge rock that comes up, but like there's a lot of dead water here. But as you pan out and look at the rest, I mean, there's rocks here and there's ledges, and you know, the one I caught was there, and like the one I missed was right above it. So we're gonna look at the macro view of this entire winter pool and talk about basically how these fish, you know, whether it's a winter warming trend that happens in February or whether it just really isn't winter yet. They're on the periphery of the center mass of, like, in winter they're going to be here, true winter. But when they activate in winter and they say, I want to get something to eat, they move up. And they also move down. I think there's some stuff down there that's for sure worth poking around. All right, so right in the center is the deepest, right? And early in the season, like when it's not quite winter yet, they're up here and up here, sometimes up here. They're also on the taper up here and here and here, and there's probably a couple of them out here, but overall, you know, they get on the perimeter, they get out here. Once it cools down, they're all going to collect in the deepest, stillest water like that. Okay, and you look for the foam bubbles that don't move through. And usually, and it could be up here, if this is all connected deep water, where you have a ledge, you have, you know, a very gentle current, if any at all, and then totally dead current. But it's in the deep water once it's, you know, it's good and cold. The early season, the early winter, and also March, so November and March, they're being in this peripheral area. They'll go back to these peripheral areas when you have a warming trend. They're also going to be, you know, throughout the cold water period, there'll be one or two eat spots. And these, you know, they may push up into where there's, you know, there's some current, but then there's slack water up at the top right next to it. So it's good to fish it in November, late November, early December, and to figure out where the shallow peripheral spots are on the perimeter of the deepest stuff. Now, when the river really comes up and you have the ice out flood, even the deep stuff just gets way too blown out and turbulent. And they'll vacate this and they'll jump up to the backside of an island and they'll all just kind of be stacked there. Or maybe they'll find a steep bank somewhere and just pack in there. Or maybe there's a creek mouth somewhere. They'll jump up in the creek mouth. But at regular levels, they want to be in this deep water once it's cold. And the peripheral spots when it warms Arms up. All right. Hopefully that illustration helped you understand the concept of going to the peripheral shallows of a winter hole to find the active eaters. I think since I got here, I kind of slowed down and really worked the crap out of one spot, and had 2 shots at 2 big fish, and missed the second one. That still bugs me, but I think I need to move a little quicker. And I don't mean like how long I invest in a cast. I mean, okay, try something there, don't put a second cast on it, move to the next one down. And how long of a pause? I think I still want 45 seconds to a minute of a bait just sitting on bottom. This water is cold. I don't know what it is. Everyone asks, hey, what kind of water temperature you got? It's cold. Well, how cold? It's cold. Like, I think when you know specifically what it is and you look at it, you're like, oh, it's 37. And, oh, I don't know if they're going to bite. No, that's killing your positive mental attitude. Don't do that. I want to show you a certain style of vegetation. I'm going to get this with the net that thrives where there's not a lot of current. You see this stuff? I don't want to misidentify it, but that style, as opposed to the long stringy stuff, which I know is, everyone calls eelgrass, it's wild celery, but this stuff in a river setting grows where there's a massive current block, and it sometimes is the marker for a winter hole. Right? I'm here at the back of an island, and there's a lot of that stuff. We're gonna come back to this spot later in the day. I want to push up and get to one that I'm hoping that side of the river has a little bit more stain in it from tributaries further north. But this is super clear. Never leave fish, find fish. But I need to. Yeah, for sure. There's a concentration of fish out here. All right, let's leave it. So this winter hole is going to be quite a bit different from the next. In that this one's an easy one to overlook. You look across this, there's a lot of shallow water, a lot of rocks sticking up. No huge, river-wide deep area, but they're in here, right? And what this area has to offer is that high water refuge. There's a lot of this river around here that is shallow and ledge rocky, but like not crazy deep. And it's something that you can't overlook, right? If all you're looking for is deep, we're gonna go to that. But that's not always, if that's all you're looking for, you're gonna overlook places like this. So I'm looking for fish. I'm cruising along. I'm doing the crash and learn thing. Run through there and see, did I make some scatter? And if so, where were they? Fishing would be better today if we had higher flow. However, this gives me a unique opportunity, being this low and clear, and that these fish are still somewhat metabolically active. They'll flush out. You come up behind them, they're gonna. Middle of winter, maybe not so much. But I get to I get to scout for, hey, is there another winter cluster of fish that a lot of people will overlook in shallow water that's still but has access to, you know, current protected area in higher flow. You don't know sometimes, but if you're out here zooming around, you'll see them. You'll see them scoot and be like, "Oh, there were 3 big ones. Let's pull out the phone and drop a waypoint." Look at all that beautiful super still foam. There should be fish there, right? No, not really. Let me see if I can zoom in there and prove myself wrong, but I don't think it has it. A lot of leaf litter. There's a lot of bait fish. But here's the deal. All of this stuff in really high flow gets like crazy turbulent. In fact, you give it another foot of water and all this is extremely turbulent with no access, no quick access to very still water. All of this gets blown out and becomes extremely turbulent in higher flow. So it's not just that you have to find still foam. Still foam is everywhere. Still foam with access to vast areas of I say deeper, it's not always deep, but current protected water at multiple different levels. This doesn't have it. Now this area, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if this is a winter hole. It's worth checking out. There's sort of a vast, I mean, we still have some current here, but there's a vast area of kind of slick water. So maybe I'll poke around in here, see what I can figure out. So I'm sampling this shoreline. And I don't think there's any of this water that if I stood up in it, that, you know, my belt would get wet. It's a lot of shallow water. And I will say that it is a misconception that all winter habitat for river smallmouth is deep. It's not true. I think a lot of it, the vast majority of it is. But some of the best ones that I've found here, I always have it to myself because people overlook it, and it's got big fish, right? And that's a thrill in and of itself, is finding something that, like, it doesn't matter when you come out here, you're not going to be, you know, within casting distance of 3 or 4 jet boats anchored up and, you know, pounding the same fish every Saturday for 3 months in the winter, which happens in the big deep pools that are obvious, because there's fish, right? And they eat. It's kind of fun to come out here and just find places. I don't want to say that nobody else finds, but like, because there's always someone else out here poking around. I don't see anybody. I have not seen it or heard a single boat. Oh, this was some exploration. Oh, heck yeah. New spot. New area to find them. All right, we'll have to poke around in here a little bit. But this is connected to a lot of good glassy water further upstream. Nice. Good exploration. I like it. All right, we are not to the winter hole that I was the known winter hole that I was going towards. But I kept poking around in these shallow, this shoreline with the 4-inch scented jerk shad. You're 17. Got this 17-incher, and see a guy. We will pick apart what's in front of us. Maybe we've you know, I'm definitely going to drop a waypoint and put what I caught, the date. Yeah, let me do that now. 11, 26, 25, 17 incher. You get enough of those, you're gonna see the winter holes. Cool. That one makes me happier than the 18.5 I got in the place that I knew had them. Like, that's a bigger thrill for me, is figuring out something new. So, cruising around out from that bank I was working, and I'm looking for fish. This has the depth. This is connected to where that 17 was, so we got a nice big ledge eddy up here. I'm gonna let a bait soak up there. I think I should catch a fish or two right up in this thing here in just a moment. I will slide to the more downstream side. I'm gonna not run up and only fish the top. I'm gonna let the current swing me down so I could work the bottom of it, then the middle, and then the top. No takers here on this this mid-river ledge eddy. It is connected to where that 17 was. I can paddle there without running aground. So, I think somewhere out here there's probably a concentration of fish, and it's at least a clue, right? Do I want to go back down and poke around? Like, this ledge trench was the best looking thing that I've seen out here. And, sometimes you do, after you fish an area, you want to crash through it. A lot of leaf matter. Still scouting, still looking for movement. You'll be able to see it a little bit better now that the sun is coming out. I go ahead and put away my rain hat. I'll probably pull my baseball cap out here in a minute. For sure, put the sunglasses on. So, for sure, we're approaching the more traditional winter hole, and it's really common to have a major mountain crossing where the river crosses the mountain, and like the river cuts through the mountain and then scours out a hole on the downstream side of it. And that's for sure the case with this winter hole here. We'll have a lot of ledges, some deep trenches on the back side of them. We're just gonna pick it apart with the probably keep going with the 4-inch scented jerk shad. I may throw the jerk bait or the big blade chatterbait around if there's some muddier water on that far side, but otherwise I'm gonna keep using what's working, small soft plastics on the bottom. I just spooked one underneath me, and I got this guy to hit. I'm gonna put my anchor down. I've arrived at the more downstream part. Downstream periphery, kind of edge, more downstream edge of the winter hole. A bite, and I spooked 2 fish. They were in that 18 to 20 inch range. Right about the same time that smaller one hit, and it's typical. Like, the main winter hole where I know it's super deep is up there, but we have just pulled up in these little ledges, and this is the first little ledge trench that is within, I can paddle up there without hitting bottom. It's a little bit of navigation to do it, but this is connected to the winter hole. But it's on the outside perimeter, most downstream part of it. There's another one right underneath me. He doesn't even see me. Huh. Which is crazy because I got an anchor down. Well, I'll just sit here and be quiet. See if he's going to eat. Alright, I got the jerkbait snagged over there. And I just threw it back into this because I can see a log. Sometimes they get tight to wood when the sun comes out. Yeah, I can see a log right here, and I didn't want to leave my anchor point. You know why I was able to sneak up and spook them from directly overhead and didn't spook them on the approach? It's an inflatable. Like the inflatables, you just see more fish because you don't spook them until you're right on top of them. There's something about the insulating acoustics of everything you got going on top side does not transfer down into the water. It helps you so much to be quiet, and it's built in, like riding on an air bubble. I might have a good spot here. Oh yeah, that's a good fish too. Alright, 2 in a row, and I think the jerkbait that was snagged over there worked its way loose. Yep, jerkbait works. Good. We'll deal with you. Alright, 2 in a row right here. I don't think you're going to be able to see that because of the reflection of the sky. There's a log like running right up there, and I can just barely see it even with the polarized glasses, but I definitely did notice it. Yeah, I can't see it without them. And intentionally line up, there it is, a cast with it. You try to get me under there. Oh, you're going to get me on my ankle, aren't you? All right, so we talked earlier about visualization, and it's easy when you do get some kind of visuals on what's going on down there, and that was the case with this log, which from where I am now, it's kind of running right there. I'm above it, but let's look at the foam in particular on this. I'm gonna zoom in. There's a ledge rock that it slows the current, and there's deep water right below it, and that foam, it's really not moving very fast at all. It's kind of swirling on the far side, but up near, it's just kind of sitting there. In fact, right here, it is just sitting there. And that visualization, that visual should give you an indication of what's happening underneath. And once you pull up here and look down and realize that it's a 7-foot hole, that log was hung up on the taper up. It goes from deep up to shallow, and that log was right on it. Makes perfect sense. I'm looking down this trench, and I'm gonna keep working in this direction and see if I can find some other pieces of wood out there that those fish will kind of huddle underneath. But yeah, good depth, good current break, good log, good visualization. All right, this wasn't a log that I saw, but I could see a boulder. That boulder shade is where I've seen a lot of these fish that I've spooked and not caught. But I can see that boulder shade in the trench from a distance. And I got the 5-inch scented jerk shed back into rotation here. I like to have multiple multiple things to throw finessing on the same spot. And I got the TRD bugs, 4-inch center jerk shad, and now the 5. So you rotate through, just giving them different options. Yep, that one just wallowed. Big head shake. Same hole. Put one last cast on it. Oh yeah, that's a good fish. Good job so far. Glad I didn't give up on it. Just let it sit. Oh yeah. Yeah, you ran right in there. Good job, dude. Alright. Best one of the bunch. And what I figured was, hey, one more cast to that log from a different angle. And, yeah, it sat 4-inch. Sat there a while, but I had a good target. Like I knew, hey, this is worth another cast, and that's another 17. Yeah, I'll give you a little, yeah. High. Yep. That's what smallmouth smell like. I love that smell. Bye. I just missed another one right there. I do want to do a quick illustration to help you visualize. The fact that I'm dropping my rear anchor up at the top of the ledge trench, casting downstream to the taper up, like where that log was, but I've moved down a little bit. I'm gonna work this whole trench. Basically, when the river's up, I usually fish the upstream side, and when the river's low, which this is lowish, I tend to fish the downstream side. They do spread out a lot. I just do better in lower flow, casting downstream to the taper up of the trench. I'll do a quick illustration and show you what that looks like. So you have these ledge structures. This is just the side view of this trench in between the ledge. And, I got a number of fish paralleling that log that was hung up on the taper up. Mind you, the current's going in this direction, right? And in lower flow, they tend to be more downstream in the trench, right? So the taper ups are important. When the river comes up more, and this is just a little bloop, little disturbance there, they'll move from this position and they'll move tight up here. And it's just a matter of, in the higher flow, more of the current comes down here and is turbulent in this area. So this gets kind of washed out in lower flow. It's a very comfortable place for them to be. In higher flow, it's not, because it gets turbulent and the taper out just gets blown out. And they pull up tight in higher flow to the upstream side. It becomes a very predictable location, because here at the surface you see these foam bubbles and they will not be moving. You cast up here, let the jig come down, let it sit, and just wait. Same thing here with lower flow and putting it next to the log on the taper up. But low flow, taper up, the more downstream side of the trench. Higher flow, they pushed up to the front side. I snagged the 4-inch center jerk shad from this position, and then said, nope, we're gonna make a big mess with this fish. What a freaking mess! You're still on. Alright. Look at how many lines are attached to this poor fish. Well, at least I caught him. It's a good hook that held on to him. What do I do with this? Guess I untangle it. Taper up. Ledge, trench, taper up. Yeah, if they're in there, put the 4 down, they're going to eat it. Whatever size they happen to be. I've caught some good fish on this lower perimeter of the winter pool. I think we should dive up into the middle of it. I don't think I want to fish the middle of it, but we're going to fish the top. The top is usually where the most aggressive feeders are. Yeah, it's very typical of me to say, I'm leaving. I'm going to go do other things with my life. And I don't, because I know there's still fish here. I leave fish to find fish. I do it all the time. So the center mass of the winter pool affords them the easiest transition when the river comes up. Like, there's such a volume of water here, and the depth, and you know, it goes almost all the way across. That it's fairly deep. It's deeper on one side, and when a big slug of water, in particular, that ice out flood, when, you know, this whole thing locks up in ice, and then we get a warm rain, or, you know, a bunch of snow melt all at once, and this thing shoots up 15 feet in less than a day. How do those fish adjust? You know, and this kind of pool is vast and deep. It's not that hard for them to adjust. Yes, they'll jump up on that bank. They'll find creek mouths. They'll find all sorts of different high water refuge. It's easier in a place like this. It just is. And, you know, before winter, which this is pre-winter, not winter yet, it's end of November. And even on warming trends during the winter, they do move out to the periphery, the edges, right? And, you know, warming trends in November and March, you know, you gotta fish the heads and tails. That was a follower. I was just bringing that jerkbait back in, and I could see a 15 in pursuit. You didn't need it though. All right, so what I'm looking for, I'm looking at foam. This foam is sitting still, but if we look out beyond it, the densest, let me get it off my finger, densest patch of foam that's sitting still is right there. It's got some kind of swirly current in there, but it's got a lot of the foam that's densely packed. It is it's just not moving through. So let's go hit that. I am still very much directly in the center mass. I'm not getting anything. That's a beautiful looking foam pocket. There should be fish there, but there are other ones further up, and I think that's kind of what I'm driving home, that, you know, perimeter. Okay, we're all the way at the top. All right, I don't think it's happening up here at the top, and I just keep thinking about the first place I was this morning. I think that's where I want to run back to. Yeah, I got a bunch of miles to cover. So let's go ahead and get back downstream, go back to the first place. But yeah, I mean, I have fished this extensively in winter in years past, had not been here in years, and said, yeah, it's worth a visit. I am happier fishing this particular hole when it's a lot higher, because they jump up on that bank. It's very predictable. Right now, it's a huge hole, and they're spread out. And I found them on the periphery, on the mostly the more downstream edge. Found good numbers. Saw a few bigs. Got 117. Let's go back down where seeing a few more bigger fish. Let's go find them. Right. Remember that 17 I got that I was excited that it was in a area that didn't know if there was, I mean, it's potentially a new winter spot, and I'm telling you, it is. I went through a different part of the pool. I am dropping a waypoint on a big old boulder. Come on. It doesn't feel my finger because it's cold. Spooked 2 giants. 1 big fish, 1 giant. Yeah, I'm definitely marking a waypoint on this. But yeah, this is interesting. So the 17 was there. I mean, it's a big, wide open area. This is cool. I should probably fish some of it. I definitely spooked those. It was definitely a crash and learn type scenario. All right, big boulder. 2 bigs spotted. So I've worked a good bit of the pool, and now I'm coming back. I think I can see that surface disturbance correlated with that waypoint. So I'm gonna sneak up on them. Maybe they went back to the rock. Hope so. Sneaky sneak. Oh, yes. Oh my gosh, I think I got him. I got one of the 2. That was cool. Oh, it's a big one. Yeah, it's a big fish. Oh, goodness gracious. Please stay buttoned. Very large fish that I spotted. Oh, gosh. Got him. Got him. Got him, got him, got him. Yeah. Okay, so you know how I was excited about the 17 in a place that I'd never caught them in cold weather? Yeah, this is a little bit better. I mean, it's the same. This is a new find. This makes me happy. You know, I could have stayed up where I knew where there was fish. Oh yeah. How big are you? You're a big one. You're a big. Big. Yay. You know, I saw you. I came back and got you. Let's see. You are not 20. You are solidly 19 and a half. Could you go 19 and 3/4? No, but you're on the way. Let's see. 19 and 5/8. Yeah. So happy. Yeah, he's 3.5. 3.5. Not a real heavy 19.5 or 5/8, but beautiful. So happy to get one where I didn't know they wintered. And yeah, I mean, there's no other water close. It's as deep as that. It's a good find. Very good find. 19 5/8 was a big fish. I think he was the smaller of the two. So I'm gonna go back in. I am running a little bit low on daylight. Let me sneak up here, and I think I gotta start making a run back down. I know towards the end of the day the wind's gonna pick up and be nasty. Got a cold front coming in, and I don't know, might be good to get off the water before all that. What's wild is in the last little more than a week, I've had 3 fish, 19 and a half. I'm gonna call that one a little bit better in terms of length. Oh, snagged. That was the lightest one. I had one that weighed over a pound more. It was 4.9 and then a fraction of an ounce. Got another one that was just shy of 4 pounds. That one was 3.8, all on the same scale. It's wild how much they vary. Got another big one off the same rock, same spot. Another very good fish. Let's get that net out. You're at least 18. You're a little thicker. I don't think you're as long. Yeah. All right. Big. 2 thick ones. 2 hefty hefties. Look at this hefty fishy. Oh, yes. I saw you. I saw you. I had to come back and shake your hand. Say, nice to meet you, sir. Yes. Oh, that's fun. I got both of them. Both of them. You're not as long, but you're thicker than the other one. Yeah. Can you 19 and a quarter? Nope. But you were. Can we get to the quarter? I got to the quarter. Let's touch a 19 and a quarter. Oh, hi. All right, the second one, 19 or better off the same rock in a newly found winter hole. Incidentally, both of those fish on the 4. Not only on the 4, but on like a long dead stick on the 4. I'm gonna poke around in a couple other spots out here, see what else we get into. Like at least a minute. Like at least a minute in the same spot. How many times does that fish look at it, stare at it, and wonder? I'll tell you this much. There was only 2 fish on that rock that had permission to eat that, and I caught both of them. It's not like I scattered a whole mess of them. It was like 2. Another spot here. On a little ledge. Yeah, little guy. Same spot. That one's a little bit more hefty than the last one. Not a giant, but good one. I don't think I'm making it back down to the other one. I think I'm gonna have to fish this one out and put all my time and resources into this to figure it out. Which is good. Good use of the time. Good stuff to do end of November. Another good one, I think. Not Not huge, but a good one. Probably 16. Come here, you. A good one. Probably 16. Not good measure. I'll give him a sniff though. Yep. See that little, tiny little disturbance there. Wasn't a whole lot to go on, but you know, it's that little boil in an otherwise slick area. That's where that 16 was, and that's kind of all I'm doing is out in the middle of this pool that doesn't have much to show you, but when it does show you, there's a boulder, there's a ledge, there's something. I don't think I've seen anything here that's deeper than like 7 feet. So, not the huge, cavernous, well-known, well-fished winter hole above this. Now this one, messing with it, and that was a snag. So let me show you what I marked on here. There's 3 waypoints, and I'm on it. It's the ledge that is there, and there that creates the deepest part of the pool behind me. I know it's deep and still because I'm looking at it, but it's where most of the leaf material has gathered. Give this river another foot, so get it up closer to 5. All these fish that are kind of spread out are gonna pile into this because it's the deepest that I've found out here. The big fish probably come off of that isolated boulder out here and drop back there. When it's really high, they get up on that bank, I'm sure. So I'll be back. I'm gonna keep picking this apart though while I'm here. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Good. Very good. Good, probably 18. Yeah. Close to it. Alright. They keep coming. If I didn't try working that bank, I worked a lot of that bank and didn't catch anything. Then I got that 17 and it's like, here's your clue. Here's your clue. Alright. Looks like 17 and a quarter. Got at least one more. Rock keeps producing. Yeah, you're only there because the pigs left. I'll check out 4.5, maybe 5 miles. Guess I'm doing it in the dark. See another turtle. Gorgeous sky behind me. Unfortunately, I think it's like the front that ends whatever warmth we had. Much as I don't want to leave, it's starting to look ominous behind me. That wall of wind is coming, and I had some trouble with the motor. I got plenty of battery power, but it's acting a little wonky, so I'll just paddle it out. I guess 4.5, maybe 5 miles to go, but it's cool because I'm in pretty good paddling shape, having done all the classes here of late. Got good strength, endurance, and form, and yeah, let's go ahead and do a wrap up. So my goals today were to create a video, for sure. Hadn't done one since August. I did miss doing it. It's unfortunate that it is not at all lucrative. I actually looked at my metrics letting the channel flatline in, like, just with all the videos that are on there, it amounts to about $2.37 a day. Can't believe that's it. Anyhow, I miss doing it, and thought today would be a good opportunity to teach how you find winter holes. We went to 2 known winter holes that were very different. I did that on purpose. I covered all this ground to really make a good episode and show, hey, here's one that's like totally obvious, super deep, lots of people fish it, and it's got lots of fish. And then one that was a little bit off the radar. I know some people know it. Heck, I know there's some people that know the one that I just discovered. First time for me winter fishing there. Man, the sky is getting gorgeous behind me. It's crazy looking sky. Got most of the fish on the 4-inch scented jerk shad, dead sticked. Most of the time longer than a minute. Because it's low and clear, that was working. Didn't get any of the moving baits to work. Did not catch a jerkbait fish. I consider that a moving bait, even though you pause it a lot. I got some on some other bottom bouncers, the 5-inch scented jerk shad and the TRD bugs. But the overall theme of, hey, when we're going into winter or coming out of winter or in the middle of winter and it's a 3-day or longer warming trend, they don't go to the deepest part of it. They're actually in somewhat shallow water on the periphery, on the perimeter. You can say it either way. They're near the really, current blocked area, but they're not necessarily in it. I think once it gets cold, they get in it. And when it gets cold and high, they're looking for a high water refuge. They need that. They need that because their metabolism is not cranked up to make quick adjustments. And Mother Nature does things quick. You'll get a quick rise, and it's called an ice out flood. And they position in places that they can make that adjustment, that position adjustment, very easily. And that's kind of a surprise. But you gotta get out here this time of year when it's still maybe a little bit above 40-degree water temp and find them. Sample water. Figure some things out and mark waypoints. Then you've got a place to come back to and do a little bit more exploring in winter to find the spot within the spot. Again, anybody that wants a copy of the winter kayak fishing class outline, shoot me an email. There it is. Here, I'll put it in there. And the subject line is winter class outline, and I'll send that out to you. It's got video links, and yeah, maybe you'll hire me to do some one-on-one coaching with you. The other thing, a lot of what I do primarily, like my main job, it's kind of shifted over the last few years. I went from Torquedo to Boondocks for a year, I've been with Snake River. I'm still with Snake River, but in a lesser capacity. They just don't need the volume of sales and marketing that I can deliver. So I'm still part of that organization. It's still my job, but I need to make more money outside of it. And I've been working with Trade Innovative Sportsman since 2017. No, 2018, the first year that I worked for Torpedo, and he's good at solving rigging problems, and we've designed these inflatables. The one that I'm in, the Kestrel, is coming next year, along with a throw and go, 11 feet 4 inch, about 41 pound hull weight, and I don't know, maybe I find a way to drag it into that spot. I'll do some content with it here this winter. And then we have the Ospreys in stock. And a lot of people like them. A lot of people are happy with them. It's nice to be out here on the river and look over and say, hey, there's a gray one. Very cool. Anyhow, that's my wrap up. Sorry I was long-winded. It's been a while. Thanks for watching.